I was reincarnated as a dragon egg, a rare double yolk. 2 dragons in one birth. I thought I would be born on top of the world, but my parents cast me out and threw me into the world's most dangerous underground dungeon. There, I was left to die. According to dragon custom, only 1 dragon is raised. If there are multiple eggs, they eat the inferior one. My talent was weaker than my brother's, so I was born in disgorgement. High-level monsters roam this dungeon everywhere. My high-grade bloodline was their favorite. That's why my parents weren't worried about my revenge. Even surviving at level 1 was a pipe dream. Due to my small size, I hid and avoided the high-level beasts. But after days of not finding food, I ended up in the death store. As I wandered like a hungry, directionless insect, searching for something to eat, a faint scent suddenly spread through the dark cave. It smelled like sour milk. A little stinky, to be honest. But my hatchling instincts told me it was food. It was a scent only a dragon could detect. I ran through several tunnels and finally found the source. It was a circular cavern. In the center lay a massive dragon, a tall level 28 earth dragon, by the way. One sneeze from it could kill me. Following that scent, I saw 3 or 4 hatchlings, my own size, huddled around it, greedily sucking. It wasn't real milk, but it had dragon bloodlines. As a true dragon, I could survive by drinking it. Using shadows, I crawled towards its belly. When I saw 4 hatchlings, I thanked my lucky stars. Their eyes weren't open yet, so they couldn't see me freeloading. I made sure Mother wasn't looking at me. Then, I succumbed to hunger. I clung to it and started gulping it down. The earth dragon flinched slightly in her sleep, confused, wondering which child was squirming so loudly as she wondered, but her maternal instinct prevented her from disturbing the meal. And she didn't open her eyes. As the milk slid down my throat, a strange heat flow rose through my body. My levels slowly rose. Perhaps it was the relief of being saved, or the warmth of her body. But eventually, I relaxed and fell into a deep sleep. I don't know how much time passed. Then a sharp pain cut through my flesh, jolting me awake. A huge, vertical slit filled my entire field of vision. The earth dragon seemed ready to burn me to death. I could only pray that she would crush me quickly. I hoped the pain of death would be brief. I curled up into a ball, closing my eyes and accepting my fate. But death didn't come. Her ball transformed from an angry, pitiful thing into something like a pea. She looked at me with a slight glint of remorse and gently disposed of me, back in the pile of her children. I was completely stunted. The earth dragon ignored me and went back to sleep. The other hatchlings surrounded me like excited puppies, sniffing and licking. Is Mom really adopting this next thing? One said, "It looks like a mix of alien and lizard." I took a sharp turn, and all 4 of them froze. They didn't expect me to speak, and I didn't know that leveling unlocked mind communication, allowing us to understand each other. I could not only understand other monsters, but they could also understand me. I spent 3 peaceful days in that cave, and it was really fun being with the little ones. Even though they constantly talked trash, they never really bullied me. They never insulted me by calling me freeloading ugly lizard. But because I was the smallest and weakest, they always surrounded me during sleep time. Whenever there was any noise outside the cave, all 4 of them would shield me. They would bark, "Stay back, don't make any noise, weakling, and don't get in the way." But really, they were just making sure I was safe. During that time, my level increased to level 9. While the hutlings were only level 4, I truly considered them my family. I was beginning to believe it, infinitely better than my pathetic biological parents. My only regret was that Mother never spoke to me. Whenever I greeted her, she would just glare at me. I thought these quiet days would always be like this. But the next morning, the Udo beast broke the silence. It stormed into the cave. Its 4 bloodshot eyes were fixed on the hatchlings. It was hungry and mad. The earth dragon mother gathered the hatchlings into a corner with her tail and stood firm. They immediately clashed, but she was pushed back by the higher level monster. Her chest was pierced by the Kodo beast's thick horns, trying to save us. Still, she dug her hind legs into the ground and stood firm despite the hole in her chest. She sank her claws into its neck and bit hard, tearing off a huge chunk of flesh. The impact caused the cave to crumble, and stones fell one after another. I leaped into the air, trying to break the falling stones, but the collapse was too fast. Protecting the hatchlings took all my strength. I couldn't help my wet nurse. Even if I attacked, a monster as thick-skinned as the Kodo beast probably wouldn't even realize it. Suddenly, the Kodo beast pounced with insane force. Its horn cracked deep inside its chest. The pain was unimaginable. It knew it wouldn't survive this time. It looked at its hatchlings one last time, and seeing me save them, a glint of relief flashed through its eyes. "I'm glad I didn't eat you," it seemed to say. Its bloodshot eyes shot open wide. It used all its remaining strength to headbutt the Kodo beast's skull. The impact was earth-shattering. Its own skull was crushed by the impact. But the Kodo beast couldn't withstand such a suicidal blow. Its head formed into a massive creature. Both joints collapsed, screaming in pain. The cave's collapse stopped. I ran to it, but only saw its broken head. Gone. She was gone. Then I heard a whisper. "How are my children?" It was the first time she had spoken to me. Her life had dwindled to a flickering candle. Her broken jaw made her words falter and weak. I tried to suppress the guilt as I faced her question. Her howlings were dead. All of them were so many stones. Despite my best efforts, I couldn't stop them all. Her last headbutt had caused a massive Kevin. I had somehow survived, but those 4 little ones who had seemed like brothers were gone. Just minutes ago, they were alive, and now were only coppers beneath the rubble. Are they okay? Her eyes were crusted. Yet, in her last breath, she asked with concern. The love hidden in her voice felt like guilt, tearing my chest apart. I clenched my teeth, almost to the point of breaking. Forcing myself into a gentle tone, I said, "They're okay. They just froze. They're all okay." A relieved smile finally appeared on her face. "Gone. Eat me when I die." Her words shook me. "Being born in a dungeon is a curse," she continued. "We can't waste any resources. This is the last nourishment I can give my children. I don't know why a high-ranking beast like you came to this dungeon, but for me to adopt you, please take care of my children." Kamadi, the Earth Dragon mother, couldn't say anything else. She breathed her last, completely losing all signs of life. At the very end, there was joy on her face, knowing her children were safe. She died peacefully. Blood spilled onto the ground near my knees. The cave was deathly silent. My mouth hung open, but I couldn't even cry. If I had screamed, more monsters would have come running. But it felt like a heavy stone was stuck in my chest. My foster mother and the 4 hatchlings I had lived with had now become 5. The first time she spoke to me was our last goodbye. This moment, a wave of powerlessness crashed over me, but reality wouldn't give me time to mourn. With an ear-splitting cry, the Kodo beast, who should have died, staggered to his feet despite his broken skull. He rose again. The Kodo beast let out a howl of terror. His eyes held no threat to a tiny hatchling like me. But do you know what the best part about being thrown into this heelless dungeon was? I bowed my head and clutched tightly. My voice trembled, not with fear, but with excitement before this joint. The system skill Drags Mage was unlocked. The fact is, I can kill you with my own hands. I roared and pounced on Koros. His injuries were severe, but ripping through his thick skin was still a pipe dream for me. But there was a way. My foster mother had already paved the way to victory. I aimed the wand she'd torn at his neck. I roared, transforming into a streak of light, and pounced on the back of his head. I plunged my claw into the wound and tore it with all my might. Memories of the last 3 days, that cold mother and 4 hatchlings, eating and sleeping together, flashed before my eyes like a movie. My killing intent reached a never-before-reached height. My mind was filled with nothing but revenge. 3 or 4 hours later, I stood before Mother's body and placed a claw on it. I felt the remaining warmth of her flesh. I refused to let myself drown in the sorrows. Dungles don't trust tears. As he said, being born here is a curse. Death is no surprise. I just regret not being able to save my 4 siblings. Mother, I will live for you and my siblings. I opened my mouth, took a fork, and a piece of her flesh came out. I choked on my tears, letting them escape with the meat. The flesh of one's relative is bitter, but I forced it down. I couldn't vomit even if I wanted to. Blood. The smell will summon more monsters. If I don't eat, I'll eventually be eaten. 3 days later, I emerged from the cave. I was only level 18. But as a high-ranking beast, I could fight the lower-ranking monsters first. I flexed my claws, and a cold, perfect smack spread across the corner of my mouth. I looked toward the endless dungeon. There were 3 monsters nearby, and I was hungry. I took my first steps toward fighting my way out. Part 2. 5 days had passed since I emerged from the cave. The surrounding minotaurs had been destroyed. After eating the last one, I reached level 20. System level cap reached. Experience gain post. Please choose evolution path to unlock the next level cap. Path 1, True Dragon, Standard Path. For more magic. Path 2, Small Dragon, General Path. For increased senses. Path 3, Corrupted Dragon, niched for surviving harsh environments. Provided higher. Looking at the white and but limits growth in magic and physical practices, I understood the pattern. Every 20 levels there's a rank, and to get stronger, I'd have to evolve. But just as I was considering options, I suddenly felt a massive pressure from behind. My survival instinct screamed. I looked around and found at least 20 Kodo beasts surrounding me, and from behind them emerged a huge, fearsome red Kodo beast. Target, Combat Specialized Kodo Beast Leader, level 88, type rare, mid-tier monster. I was stunned by the data. Well, the Kodo leader had clearly set a trap. He had lured me into an ambush, but why did he target me? I opened my mental link to speak to him. The Kodo leader sighed. I didn't expect such a small brand to steal our food. Hearing this, I finally understood the reason. My Nodos are their main food. To train my skills and satisfy my gluttony, I was constantly hunting them. The population had dropped drastically, causing the Kodo beast population to decline. There's a food shortage, but I just shrugged. There are people in the dungeon. That's the only truth. I put the claws on my waist and tilted my head. Yes, I ate them. So what? Didn't your people eat my foster mother? If you want to fight, I'm ready. Blue light flashed around me, and I took a battle pose. But deep inside, I was wondering how I was going to get out of here. The leader hadn't expected such aggression from such a small creature. He roared, and, using Earth Shrink, charged forward. His massive body moved as if teleporting. He landed directly in front of me. Dozens of Kodo beasts roared simultaneously. My senses vanished. I couldn't move an inch. If the high-level beast struck even once, I'd be dead. Countless plans flashed through my mind, but I dismissed them all. There was no way out. Suddenly, a pillar of pure blue light shot at the Kodo leader. The being swallowed it instantly. The nearby beasts, before I could even screen them, they were reduced to ashes. As the heat subsided, a rhythmic thumping sound resounded, as if a mountain had sprouted legs. The ground trembled violently with every step. My 6th sense screamed, I'm about to die. As the footrests drew closer, I mustered all my courage and looked back. My heart stopped. A body appeared, as vast as a mountain range. My truth skill displayed data. The target was a Leviathan, a level 355 type, transcendent high-tier monster. Truth couldn't measure anything other than level and rank. I held my breath. Why was the dungeon boss here? Only after the footrests were gone could I breathe again. The shockwave had injured my right leg. That's why I decided to evolve. True dragon is the standard path, but in the narrow dungeon tunnels, I would grow too large. I couldn't take that risk. I chose corrupted dragon. It damages my bloodline, but at the core, it's still a dragon. I'll learn it later. I can re-optimize it. Furthermore, its stats are more balanced. To survive here, I need survival strategies, not specialization. I closed my eyes and gave the command. Evolution will be complete in 10 seconds. A warm current flowed through my body. The pain and bleeding disappeared. My dried up body filled with warm, fresh blood. Old skin began to peel off, and new scales grew. I couldn't even enjoy the feeling before it was over. Ding level increased to LV8. My scales turned dark purple and looked tougher. All my attributes increased significantly. With my enhanced dragon vision, I could sense the changes in the dungeon. The monster population was declining due to Leviathan. The survivors were fleeing. Why did he come to the first floor? I knew everything was about to change. I immediately decided to go to the second floor. I hesitated at first because it was a one-way trip. I couldn't turn back. I didn't know Leviathan. How did I get here? But I wouldn't have gone to the second floor so quickly if I hadn't been forced to. Soon I reached the cave entrance. This made me realize something. Are humans really the dominant species in this world? I hadn't seen a single human since I was born. But then I heard a slight rustle behind me. Fearing an ambush, I turned around, and my heart stopped for a moment. A little girl was hiding in the corner. My first human encounter. She was so beautiful that the dragon inside me started having negative thoughts. But before I could say anything, she fell back in fear and clung to the stone wall. I was confused. Shouldn't girls find a chubby baby dragon like me cute? I approached her slowly, as if to calm a dragon. I'm not an anime. How did you get here? She looked even more scared. She was muttering nonsense like, survival fight, and Master King give me strength. I took a step forward to explain, but just as I was within 2 images, she suddenly kicked me hard. The sudden blow hit the most vulnerable part of my head. Then a notification popped up, HP -1. That was all I could really see of her stats. She was pathetic. Target monk, level 19, type human, female, reading value high. With such stats, she'd barely survive even on the first floor. How did she reach the second floor? Now she was holding her leg, wincing in pain. Her kick didn't hurt me, but her ankle was badly sprained. Suddenly, she ignored the pain and ran towards a nearby tunnel. I was stunned. I tried to chase her, but blood-sucking spiders fell from the ceiling, blocking the way. Dungeon monsters prey on life essence, and a weak human wasn't within their appetite. They all pounced on me. They couldn't hurt me, but I'd lost her completely. My heart sank. A real girl, and just like that, she was gone. Now my own, how would I get Rusty Spear back in action? 5 days later, I was acclimated to the second floor. Unlike the first floor, the monsters here were much more diverse. New species appeared every day. Humans appeared too, but only as corsairs or remnants. I couldn't stop thinking about that girl. Not just because I'm a paranoid monster, but because she was human. By now, I'd found several human remnants, and I'd also found footprints of a large group of at least 200 or 300. I want to find them. This dungeon isn't a good place for humans, so if they're here, they must have a way out. At least that's the logic I'm assuming. That's my dream. Unfortunately, my tracking only yielded more remnants. As I was about to escape, a cold shiver ran down my spine. I didn't even look back. I rolled to the side on instinct. A compressed air blade flew past my head, and it ripped 4 deep gashes through the rock wall, like paper shreds. There was no time to think. I used my enhanced healing to catch the small crutcher approaching at impossible speed. Before I could react, sharp claws scratched my facial scales. As I rolled to my feet, I felt 4 fresh stabs against my face. Hit twice, and still alive. No wonder you dare enter my territory. You have some skill. A girl's voice echoed from the darkness. A 4-legged beast emerged from the shadows, licking blood from its cloak and standing on its hind legs like a human. It seems you have a mental link. We can talk, but if you enter my domain, don't expect to get out alive. Mew, I couldn't see its true form, but I could feel the monster's intent. Then a shadow pounced on me with incredible speed, so fast the naked eye couldn't follow it. It single-handedly created the illusion of dozens of attackers. I was surrounded by the threats that surrounded me. I never expected to face such a troublesome opponent. If I kept saving vital parts, I could survive. But her unstoppable speed left me helpless. If this continued, she would slowly tire me out, and she was clearly coming in for the kill. Faced with this impossible situation, I decisively opened the truth skill tree. I had studied this tree before. The skills look complex, but most are branches or evolutions of core abilities. Advanced skills aren't unlocked without a tree wreck, but I had already memorized the starting branches for this kind of situation. I spent 1 point to unlock dragon perception, another point to unlock mental concentration, and 5 points to unlock pulse. As light flowed through the skill tree, the dragon perception and mental concentration icons lit up. I blinked, and the world changed. I spun and punched him. I knocked him back into empty air. With a powerful pan, I blew up an afterimage. Without a word, I unleashed a blast of dragon breath. Massive blue flames filled the entire underground cavern before the monster could even react. Breathing heavily, I watched the stings. The energy train was enormous, but I didn't have time to worry because I saw that my experience points hadn't moved, meaning the opponent wasn't dead yet. My heart thumped in my chest. Taking a point-blank shot of void dragon breath was no small feat. I stepped forward and saw the charred monster in the corner. The target monster's transformation, Nekomata, red, value extremely high. Seeing the notification filled my heart with a strange sense of regret. Damn it, I almost killed a cat girl. Nekomata are common monsters on the second floor. They look like cats, but have human-like faces and 2 tails. Usually, they're just common monster material. But today I found a fully transformed one, except for her ears and tail. She looked completely human, even though over 80% of her body was burned. I could tell she was exactly my type. I'm usually decisive, but now I hesitated. I suddenly felt a surge of curiosity and even desire. What happened? Why aren't you killing me? Mia! The cat girl glared at me with pure hatred, and I was a little flustered. After much thought, I came up with a plausible excuse. Cat meat tastes bad. It's sour and bitter, and I don't like skinny girls like you. The transformed Nekomata sighed. You think I look weak? Meow. So you're feeling sorry for me. If you don't kill me now, I'll kill you next time. Meow. I didn't take her threat seriously. I was just curious. Why did you attack me? I keep level 2 spiritual pressure active. July, this lets other monsters know that I shouldn't be messed with. Most monsters wouldn't dare attack me. When he didn't answer, I asked more sternly. Girl-shaped Nekomata turned into a horse. You entered my territory and defecated in it. Or who would I fight? If not you, I'd be a stunted animal. After thinking about it, I realized that this was exactly why I came to that cave. Felons are very territorial, but this is a dungeon. Do surface animal instincts really apply here? And even if they do female cats have territories? Just that? So, small talk, meow. You're so strong. You should be the boss monster of this floor. How can you not know such common sense? In fact, I've been in this dungeon for less than a month. Is it impossible? The outside world is wonderful. You can live freely in the wild. Some humans choose them as mounts, and they live without worry. Then you're in this. Why come to this useless dungeon? Come on, Mian. Is it really that good outside? Her words made me think. Monsters in the forest may be carefree, but they don't have the growth potential of the dungeon. The world outside is harsh. Monsters are hunted en masse by humans, and they have no way to fight back. As for becoming mounts, some humans might cherish them, but most simply exploit them by taking away their freedom. They are kept in cages like chickens. After a month here, I've realized one thing. The dungeon is simply a slum for monsters. Are you enjoying my suffering? Come on, Mian. There was no fear in Nekomata's voice. Rather, she was relieved to finally be free. It reminded me of what my nanny had said. Being born in a dungeon is a natural curse for monsters. I use the mindling skill sparingly, because I'm afraid to hear monsters beg for their lives. It softens me. Deep down, I'm afraid to hear monsters beg for their lives. I'm still a human with basic empathy and compassion. But in this place, such feelings can get you killed. Maybe it was hormones or something, but seeing his pitiful face made me hesitate. Still, I wasn't stupid enough to let him go, just so he could kill me later. I raised my dragon claw to finish him off. Just then, a massive explosion rocked the cave. The sound stopped me. The entire second floor of the dungeon shook and spun violently. I looked at Nekomata. My heart was pounding. What did you say, humans? I asked. In just a few words, he said what I cared about most. Before I could ask further, the rock wall next to us collapsed. A handsome young man, holding a golden grade sword, fell through the stone. I was stunned. My first human appeared. The young man saw me and Nekomata immediately. His face hardened. He turned toward the hole in the wall and roared with all his might. He took a composure stance, as if ready to fight to the death. In his eyes, a sea of hatred overwhelmed me. I wanted to explain, but when he realized I could speak, he became even more enraged. Cold sweat poured down his face. He began mumbling. His focus reached a frightening level. My mind was spinning. Are you even listening to me? I thought you were overthinking the whole thing. But I, young man, didn't care. A wave of battle intent radiated from every pore of his body. The energy he released instantly increased tenfold. He lunged at me like an arrow from a bow. My dragon eye scanned him. The target was Lan Pedin, a LV-32 elite human. Most of his attributes were higher than my current state. If I were at full strength, I could easily handle him with skill. But I was injured and exhausted. I had no chance in a direct fight, and I wasn't ready to start a war with a human right now. After 2 seconds of hesitation, I dodged his incoming slash. Lifting Manta onto his shoulder, he ran away from both the boss and the young man. The Nekomata was stunned. What are you doing? Mia, I won't forgive you. She began biting and scratching my exposed head. Shut up! I barked. I reached back and grabbed the scruff of her neck. Her face turned red. Her only remaining ear hung down, and her body froze completely. Behind me, the human youth was already closing in. His golden sword came down like a falling sky. I twisted my body and dodged a strike, cursing inwardly. If I weren't so drunk, this little fly wouldn't have been able to chase me. I bared my teeth and mustered every last bit of strength to escape. A man and a dragon raced through the dungeon, like streaks of light, in fierce pursuit. I thought the man would give up after a while. I never expected him to keep chasing me for 2.5 hours. I could have just walked away to save energy. But if he really tried a suicidal final strike, I'd have to crush his head. I waited for his reaction. And then the young man let out a desperate cry. Veins bulged across his body as he channeled all his battle intent into the golden grade sod. I dodged his full power strike, spending 5 points to unlock the invisibility skill. I became a living cannonball, colliding with the sod energy, ripping it apart like rice paper. Leo never expected the beast he was hunting to counterattack so suddenly. He couldn't believe his ultimate strike was so easily broken. With a terrifying thud, my iron-hard head slammed into his stomach, and he screamed in pain. He spun like a fan, flying through the air and smashing through a dozen stone pillars, crashing into a rock wall. When invincibility ended, my body went limp. I thought I'd finally be able to breathe, but the sound of the level up notification set me reeling. Gaining experience after evolving was difficult, but this human's power seemed comparable to that of a Kodo beast. This week, the human took me from level 11 to level 17. Earning 12,000 experience points for a single kill felt like the system was encouraging me to become a murderer. The main quest: slay the second floor boss, Hand of Medsa. Reward: 50 unlock points. I was stunned. I had only collected 35 points fighting with health, and now a quest was giving me 50. Luna's voice came from behind. I turned around and saw her, covered in wounds, staring at me as if I were a full-blown monster. She was shocked. Usually, monster growth is a steady, natural progression, but I had just killed the human and instantly healed and earned a power quest. She had never seen anything like it. I kept my cool as I faced her frightened questions. Do you want to die here? Do you want to come with me and kill the second floor boss? I asked. Faye, are you crazy? That boss guards the third floor entrance. Suddenly, Luna understood my plan. You really want to kill the Hand of Medusa and go to the third floor, right? I said nothing. I just nodded firmly. Ignoring her burns, Luna hissed. With your current strength, you can rule the second floor. So why risk your life and go even lower? You said humans raid bosses to get out of dungeons, right? Luna's face went white. You really want to leave the dungeon? I gave her a knowing smile. It seemed exploring deeper was the only way out. Tell me how to get out. If you're already talking, just tell me everything. Why should I help you? Luna spat. I shrugged. It's okay. I have a skill that can penetrate your mind. It's very painful though. If you don't tell me, I'll extract the information directly from your brain. Luna's face went pale. She knew that the Mendel-type monsters on the third floor use such skills. She flinched, but I kept up the pressure. If you cooperate, I'll spare your life and fix your woods. I need a carrot and a stick. I knew the price. I did indeed have the memory extraction skill, but it required 20 unlock points, and I didn't want to waste them. Luna's ears twitched, and she looked at me suspiciously. Are you telling the truth? I patted my chest. A man's words are his bonds. I learned that there are many ways to leave the dungeon. Humans use teleportation magic, but it's nearly impossible for monsters to learn. There's only one way out for dungeon monsters. Fight from the first floor to the 5th floor. Beat the final boss on the 5th floor, and you can reach the outside world. Thinking about Levita's unstoppable power, I couldn't help but laugh at Siron. Where did you even see Levita? I nodded and asked, didn't you say that each floor is a separate space, and monsters can't move between them? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't apply to Levita. He was the mount of the ancient god, and the most powerful being in this dungeon. He's a powerful creature. He can go wherever he wants. No one can kill Levita. No one can stop him. He stays in the dungeon because he wants to protect it himself. So getting out is just a pipe dream. Hearing this, Luna seemed to give up. She fell to the ground, gasping. Her health was rapidly depleting from her heavy wounds. She would die in 10 minutes. I decided to spend 4 points to unlock the healing skill. I used the healing skill and condensed the water, restoring her health completely. She immediately jumped up to her feet. What did you do? She asked, looking at her own limbs in disbelief. Meow. I can't promise you'll get out, but I can make sure you get to the second floor safely. Will you come with me? Luna hadn't recovered from the shock. She stared blankly at me for a long moment. Then she said, you mean you're gonna kill the Hand of Medusa? I nodded. You're strong. You're still on the second floor. You're my strongest monster. Luna puffed out her chest with pride. Absolutely. Mia. I'm the strongest here, except for that Medusa. Mia. Then her tone changed. But why would I risk my life with you? If you kill the Hand of Medusa, you'll become boss queen of the second floor. Doesn't that sound nice? Luna's ears twitched. She lowered her head, muttering, Boss queen. After a few seconds, she looked up with a red face and agreed. You saved me, so I'll help you this one time. By the way, are you a dragon or a dog? I'm a dragon. Don't you look like one? Mia. Are you a little black dog? With such a big belly and a dog-like head, I'll call you Dogthink from now on. I remained silent. Luna continued. And you're not a dog, are you? You played with that human. You hurt me. Then you healed me. Are you trying to get me to have your babies? I'm only a month old. I won't even have hair yet. Call me whatever you want. And what's your name? I don't have a name. Dungeon monsters don't have names. They don't need them. Fine. You call me Dogthing, and I'll call you Cat South North. Luna's tail started tapping the ground. What kind of name is Cat South North? Come on, Luna mumbled. I actually have a name. Then she quickly followed me. A few minutes later, we reached the boundary between the second and third floors. I saw humans fighting the Hand of Medusa, and decided I'd collect my reward once they were done. After I arrived, I realized that the monsters here don't understand levels or skills. Leveling is simply a byproduct of living, and skills are simply survival tools. Except for mutants like Luna, the older a monster gets, the higher its level. The second floor boss, the Hand of Medusa, has lived for at least 500 years. It can't even move. But there's a fixed guard guarding the third floor corridor. It's like a turret. Humans raiding the floor, or monsters ascending, have to pass through this corridor. Prey keeps approaching to protect it. I watched the humans fearlessly launch a fierce attack on the Hand of Medusa. Then they died one by one. There were at least 200 humans at the beginning, but now only a dozen were left. These humans are truly something else. Knowing they can't win, They still came here to die. Luna was looking at Carnage as if she were watching a show. I remained expressionless. I didn't care about their lives. I just wanted them to further deplete Medusa's health. After all, Medusa was a formidable foe. Hand of Medusa's stamina was terrifying. If I had fought her at full strength, I would have had zero chance. The human army's wave tactics failed, but they did some damage. Hand of Medusa won't be this weak again for a long time. I'm not ready to let these humans die now. I didn't mean to. They were still useful to me. It was only 9 o'clock. My mind was rapidly simulating every possible tactic. His perception was 8,000, so a snake attack was impossible, even if he was weakened. A head-on fight was a losing battle. I decided to put all my points into critical strike and launch a massive attack. I would deplete his health in one go. Then I would wear him down in the attrition war. That was the only way. I put all my points into it. Now everything was at stake. According to my observations, these humans weren't afraid of death. They would retreat to the corner and commit the final suicide attack. As I watched, the 9 survivors stood, supporting each other. Their screams shook the air. 9 red lights illuminated the entire basement like day. This was my chance. I looked towards Cat South North and leaped into the shadows, crawling to the edge of my range. The humans in the field were still dying. When only 3 remained, one of them threw his body into the fire. Forming a shield, the last 2 charged at the boss. They leaped and thrust their weapons deep into the hand of Medusa's lower jaw. The boss began to hysterically leave the screen. His physical defense was 0, so those 2 weak humans had reduced his health by over 1,000 points. Cat South North saw his opportunity and transformed into a dark stream of light. He charged towards his tongue, but was too slow against the 8-house order perception. Half of the snakeheads darted in his direction as if they knew he was coming. I thought I heard him thinking, "Who is it? So this eternal runner-up has come to fight. Great, I've been wanting to eat you for a long time." That's what he was thinking. But he didn't realize there was a third person. I activated Weakness Break. Red spots appeared all over the hand of Medusa's body, his physiological weak points. I focused my energy and charged out. Shattered stones began to bounce around him. I was walking. I turned into a spinning cannonball, melting stone pillars into lava as I passed. A level 5 Comet Strike quadruples all attributes. The pulse of a full power strike is unimaginable. The high pressure and heat reduced the pith to shredded flesh. With a bang, the hand of Medusa screamed 1,000 times louder. The back of its head collapsed. Its massive body, unmoved in 400 years, flew away. It smashed into a rock wall, sound and distant. I didn't stop to heal. I watched it sting through the dust. It wasn't until its health dropped to 0 that I finally rested. The 2 surviving humans nearby stared blankly at the scene, unable to believe they were saved by a monster. Arthur, the large, square-faced knight, began to speak with joy that quickly faded. Marcus, the smaller one, was watching him. Arthur swallowed, his eyes filling with murderous intent. A monster is a monster, no matter what. This dragon is small, but I can feel its power. If we let it grow, it will become a threat to humanity. Arthur picked up the broken sock and limped towards me. We're not getting out of this hellhole alive anyway. Killing the hand of Medusa and this dragon together would be the best thing for the world. Marcus hesitantly picked up his weapon. I heard everything. Ungrateful is an understatement for both of them, but I didn't care. It was part of the plan. The critical strike had drained my stamina, and I knew how to get it back. Leveling up was the goal. Humans are weak, but give a lot of XP. I planned to kill them anyway to recover. If they were grateful, my conscience might hesitate, because they are ungrateful. I have no regrets. As soon as the 2 barbers prepared to strike, I was ready to counter. Just then, the wall where Medusa was stuck collapsed. A cry erupted. A python lunged out and bit Arthur and Marcus. I recognized it as Medusa's hair. Then suddenly, I realized something. Why hadn't my XP increased after killing the hand of Medusa? Hissing sounds filled the air. My survival instinct reawakened. I lunged forward and dispatched Marcus's heart with my dragon claw. The level was now complete. My status instantly returned to peak. His true body was actually the hundreds of pythons on his head. The skull was merely a connector for regeneration. Now those hundreds of pythons split into 2 groups. Half were attacking me, half were attacking Cat South and North. They could strike at any time from any angle. The worst part was that all these pythons were considered a single entity. Killing some had no effect on it. But I had a plan. I tore one python to shreds. I headed towards Cat, South, and North. I saw it. Despite its agility, it had only managed to kill a few. If it continued like this, we would both be worn down to death. I gestured for it to come towards me. In this form, Hand of Medusa's combat power was immense, but losing its head meant it couldn't regenerate and couldn't resist magic. If I unleashed a massive AoE attack, all the pythons could die simultaneously. I had the perfect skill, Ethereal Dragon Breath. It was Dragon Rage's strongest innate attack, dealing massive area damage. Combined with Critical Strike, it transformed all my attributes into pure power, but using it would put me on the brink of death. I would only use such a desperate move if there was no other way. Cat Southpaw approached me. As soon as it arrived, I swatted it aside with my claw. I stopped in front of over 200 pythons on both sides. I opened my mouth wide. Blue flames erupted, filling every corner of the cave. The pythons didn't even have a chance to react. They were completely engulfed in the searing heat. But when I saw them turn to ash, I couldn't help but feel relieved. The XP notification hadn't arrived yet. I was carefully scanning the area when a golden python burst out from the rock wall. It pounced directly between my eyes. It was so fast, my vision was a blur. In my current state, a hit would have been fatal, but at that very critical moment, the cat Southpaw came running from behind the rock. She shielded me with her body. I heard the horrific sound of bones breaking as the golden python bit her arm. Her already low health dropped to single digits. Enduring the pain, she used all her strength to tear the python to pieces. I checked its stats. It was a core beast. I never expected this dumb cat to save me. I was confused by its broken arm. Why did it save me? Logically, it was a core beast. Letting him kill me, and then finishing him off myself, was the best choice, wasn't it? Cat Southpaw's face flushed, and she forced a weak smile. Wasn't that our deal? I'll kill this beast and become the floor 2 boss, and you'll go to floor 3. You saved me anyway. I couldn't let you die. His innocence was almost amusing. After seeing the decapitation of those humans, I realized my humanity-first mindset had to change. I went up to the core beast and crushed its head under my foot. I picked it up, chewed it, and swallowed it. Notification: main quest completed. Skill points rewarded. Level 20 reached. Evolution conditions met. Only after hearing quest completion did I finally relax. I collapsed to the ground, gasping. Cat Southpaw hugged me tightly and rubbed her face against mine. Luna's human form was quite impressive. I used focus and heal to heal her injuries. Then, I looked around. Medusa's hand was dead, so the path to floor 3 was wide open. But just as I was about to jump down, Luna said in a reluctant tone, "What a great team we are. If you stay, we'll be invincible on floor 2. After a moment, her face turned red, as if she'd suddenly realized something, and she yelled, "I'm smart, and you're strong. I can be queen of floor 2. I love the blue sky and the warm sun more," I said, and stepped into the tunnel. Luna followed me, but my voice echoed behind me. Floor 2 is safe now. Goodbye. For her, the tunnel might have been a death trap. For me, it was a path to freedom, but the next moment, I regretted it. Floor 1 was rock. Floor 2 was mud, but I never could have imagined this. Floor 3 was a vast, frozen wasteland. I immediately looked at the purification options, and what I saw shocked me. The first 3 options were still there, but a 4th had been added. Miniaturized. Dragon. This was a rare path unlocked with extreme cold and heat source awareness. It granted ice immunity. My health was rapidly depleting from the cold, so I chose that. In an instant, my dark purple scales disappeared. I was checking out my new stats when a familiar screen buzzed from above. I looked up, and just then, a huge shape fell upon me. It crashed straight into me. Didn't I tell you to stay away? I did. Luna followed me down, and we began exploring this new world. Floor 3 was a world of blinding whiteness. The monsters resembled translucent ice sculptures, all level 70 or above. We decided to hunt there to level up. After weeks of killing thousands of ice monsters, I reached second purification level 8. Because levels reset after purification, I was effectively level 88. Luna reached level 60. As we grew stronger, I noticed something strange about this canyon. The creatures outside were low level. The wolves outside had white flesh and blood. They were real. But the wolves inside the canyon were made of pure ice. They had no flash. Despite my double XP buff, the experience I gained from them was very limited. This led me to a terrifying conclusion. I took Luna deeper into the canyon. All the monsters we encountered were made of ice. They had no soul, no intelligence, and no way to communicate. Then I saw a human made of pure ice. This confirmed my theory. Every monster here was just a summon. This meant the summoner must be incredibly strong. Its culprit was probably the floor boss, the ice ape. We continued for 3 more days. I reached level 11, my second evolution. Luna reached a level save. Leveling up restores the body, but mental exhaustion. No. Luna was staggering. She could barely walk. "I can't go any further," she whispered. "Can we rest?" "The boss is still there," I said. "Rest for an hour, if you must. You can catch up quickly later." She looked confused, clearly afraid of being left behind. "If I'm left here alone, I'll just have to go with you through my teeth." "You're a jerk." Letley is acting so weird. "Why are you so upset about the boss?" "Because I want to level up quickly. I want to kill Leviathan and get out of this hellhole. My goal is simple. Whatever I become, I'm human. I want a peaceful life. This dungeon is not my place." Luna wanted to say something else, but seeing the unwavering determination in my eyes, she just bit her lip and followed me. Suddenly, the canyon opened up in front of me. I stopped. "Why did you stop?" she asked. "I found the floor 3 boss." Following my gaze, Luna saw a giant ice phoenix. I saw it sitting in the middle of the icy nest on a huge plain. It seemed to be waiting for us. Target Ice Phoenix. Level 1776. Type Rare, High Tier, High Value Monster. This was the first time I'd seen a creature with 4 or 5-digit stats. It was hard to believe it was just the Floor 3 boss. But raw stats mean nothing. Skill usage, tactics, and insight determine the winner. I took a step forward. To my surprise, the Ice Phoenix had already spoken. "Why are you disturbing my peace?" Because he was ready to talk. So I didn't mind wasting a few words. "There's a path to Floor 4 beneath your nest, right? We have to go down. If you move aside, we won't have to fight to the death." The Ice Phoenix shook its crystal-like feathers and then said, "I just want to stay here with my child until the end of eternity. Why do you have to break my silence?" Hearing this, I looked down at him. There was a small Ice Phoenix bonus lying there. "Is that your child?" Phoenix didn't answer. He just stared at the bonuses as if child were still alive. I had no patience for this, nor did I care about his tragic story. I took combat stances. Luna seemed reluctant to fight. It wasn't out of sympathy. She just didn't think we could win. But I didn't care. "Whatever happened to you and your child, I'm going to Floor 4. Hearing this, Phoenix looked up at me with relief and said something strange. "I understand. Do you want to be my dear child's playmate too?" My last shred of patience snapped. I stopped speaking and, using the pulse's recoil, flung myself forward like a green cannonball. I opened my mouth and fired 3 void pulses in quick succession. Luna swung her claws and unleashed dozens of wind blades. Our attacks rained down on Phoenix, instantly reducing his health to 20%. But I wasn't happy. I was nervous. Phoenix hadn't attempted a counterattack since the battle began. He sat like a statue, absorbing every hit without moving. My combat instincts told me to hesitate. Just as I was about to prepare my final void pulse, dozens of ice monsters emerged from the canyon walls. At that moment, Phoenix finally moved. He spread his wings. The surrounding ice monsters began to melt. Their bodies broke apart, turning into liquid ice. That ice flowed into Phoenix, and his health instantly refilled. My heart sank. Phoenix was done for now. His wings flapped, creating an incredible gale. My limbs began to freeze and break. In a single breath, my entire torso was encased in ice. My consciousness began to fade. In the haze, I heard a single voice. After that, I was lost. When I finally regained consciousness, I don't know how much time had passed. I opened my eyes and realized I wasn't in the canyon. A creature resembling a 200-year-old horse was grinning at me. A blood-curdling scream echoed across the icy plain. A minute later, I was half dead on the ground. I looked up and couldn't believe this huge, strange beast, instead of eating me while I was unconscious, had protected me with its body for an entire day and night. Are there really good people in this dungeon? That really changed my perspective. Did you save me? I asked hesitantly, surprising the floating head beast. You can communicate? You know telepathy? I nodded awkwardly. Did you just talk to me? The floating head was shocked. I'm sorry I've been alive so long. My memory is failing. But I wasn't the one who saved you. He was your friend. I froze. How could that cat forget him? Luna. Hearing her name, I was instantly shocked. Pieces of memory flashed like spinning tassels. I remembered the Ice Phoenix's cold wind, freezing my body. But then, Luna stepped forward. She ran to me, and, with all her might, threw me out of the Ice Phoenix's nest. You jerk! You better come save me, or I won't give you your babies. I'm dying. Come, Mia. I sank to my knees as everything came back to me. It felt like an invisible hand was crushing my heart. A wave of shocking reality and helplessness crashed over me like a toad. If I'd been more careful, this wouldn't have happened. If it hadn't been for Luna, the Ice Phoenix would have killed me. That cat threw you into the canyon's ravine. I was passing by. Honestly, monsters of your level are rare on the 3rd floor now. So I picked you up. I once had a friend like that, back during the Great Ancient War. But you don't look sad at all. Wasn't that cat your friend? The old beast asked, confused. She's my friend, a stupid cat. She risked her life to save you. Why don't you have any reaction? What should I do? Should I cry? I turned and walked towards the canyon. Seeing this, the old beast stood in front of me. Why are you stopping me? Because I'm watching a young monster go to its death. It's the elder's duty to stop you. Luna is dead. She died because of me. It's my responsibility to avenge her. My words were strong, filled with determination. The old beast said nothing. He just looked down. My dragon claws tightened into fists. Blue blood oozed from my fingers. The old beast smiled as if he'd been reminded of an old memory. After a long silence, he said, "If I tell you your friend isn't dead, I'll turn around like a drowning man clutching at a straw. The old beast smiled. He didn't seem to be lying. The Ice Phoenix's puppets are so lifelike because of its summoning skill, a special skill called Flesh and Bone Artifact. Since ancient times, fewer than 10 beings have possessed this skill. It's one of the rarest skills in the world. Normally, summons are weaker than the original, but this skill creates creatures that are as strong as, or even stronger than, the original. Its principle isn't a simple copy. It's a plunder. It traps and kills the creature, but extracts the consciousness, sparing the soul. Then, it reconstructs the body from ice. It's better to call them puppets than summons. Therefore, even killing them grants XP. Every monster you've seen in this ice kingdom is summoned by the Ice Phoenix. The third floor is completely under its control, except for a few weak creatures. Every creature with any power has been turned into a puppet. This shocking fact was hard to believe. But what does this have to do with Luna being alive? I asked. The old beast continued. The Flesh and Bone Artifact is powerful, but its weakness is that the process is extremely slow. It uses ice to alter the victim's body at the cellular level so that the soul remains intact. Judging by your cat friend's attributes, this process will take approximately 2 weeks. If you kill the Ice Phoenix within that time, she can be saved with healing magic. 2 weeks filled me with hope again. The healer's death was already a huge blow. If Luna dies too, I will never forgive myself. This is the news I needed. If it was my fault for her capture, then it is my responsibility to save her. Thank you, Elder. Now I know what to do. The old beast laughed loudly. I've been alive for a very long time. When do I see a pig dragon? So I saved you just to kill my boredom. I froze. I should have been a miniaturized dragon. My pig dragon should have hidden after 2 evolutions. How did he see me? Suddenly, something didn't feel right. He'd said everyone on this floor was made into puppets, except for Small Fry. But with his enormous size, he wasn't Small Fry. How did he escape the Ice Phoenix? A knowing smile flashed in his eyes, as if he was getting to know me. Don't you have that rare skill, Truth? It's a total cheat code. Since the beginning of time, I've only seen one god besides you possess it. Use it now, and you'll understand. I was stunned. How did he know about my Truth skill? I took a deep breath and controlled my nerves. I looked up and activated Truth on this huge, strange creature. My vision blurred as I saw the data, and my legs gave out. This strange beast was a level far above even Leviathan. Target: Babylon level 413, type Super God Beast. Who are you? My voice trembled violently. Babylon just smiled silently. He was looking at the blue sky, lost in some beautiful memory. After a long moment, he said, I once fought 1,000,000 gods with a blade like sin and separated day from night. Now I live a life of complete peace and anonymity. It turns out the gods originally created this dungeon with 2 bosses, but Babylon grew tired of battle and the world. As his body slowly aged, he retreated to the scenic 3rd floor, leaving Leviathan to rule the dungeon. I chuckled bitterly. I was only halfway through, and I had already defeated both final bosses. Was this fate or curse? At least Babylon was wise and didn't want to see me die. Elder, can I really save Luna by defeating the Ice Phoenix? Son, Babylon didn't answer immediately. He and Leviathan are twin bosses. Leviathan is power, and Babylon is wisdom. He paused, then asked, Have you killed a single monster in this dungeon that isn't a higher level than you? Yes? His gentle gaze fell on me. It wasn't just kindness, but the way of a sage, who turns 1,000 words into truth. I understood immediately. No matter how detached he was, Babylon was still the boss. He couldn't simply give me the key to killing the other boss. I bowed my head, thoughtfully, then stood up. Thank you, Elder. I understood. I turned and headed back to Ice Valley. Not 2 weeks, but 10 days. 2 weeks is too risky. Luna probably won't last that long. After subtracting my unconscious time, I only had 9 days left. I wouldn't waste a second. At the valley entrance, I picked up a huge chunk of ice. I threw it with the force of a cannonball. It flew 1,000 meters and hit the ice wall, creating a violent explosion. The sound instantly enraged the ice abyss creatures clinging to the walls. 2,000 or 3,000 came rushing out in an instant. I just smiled at that overwhelming number. I knew the Ice Empress could recover through her own ice puppets. With this ability, as long as there are puppets in the valley, she's immortal. Because every monster here is a puppet. I'll take that power away from her and make myself stronger. Why not? Before returning inside, I spent 40 points to upgrade my growth plan to level 2. This skill automatically gives me 2 experience points every minute and quadruples the experience gained from kills. I signaled to Svam with my claw. I'll clear this valley in 9 days. You're the first batch. 6 days have passed. As soon as the last purebred Kodo beast puppet fell, I collapsed to the ground. Notification: purebred Kodo beasts are extinct. Reward: 20 points, level 16. This was the 11th species of puppets I'd wiped out. For 6 days, I'd been pushing my limits. The last 2 species on my level wouldn't grant me any more levels, but I had to do it to take away the Empress's emotions and earn a significant amount of unlock points. I needed to unlock 2 specific skills to ensure victory. Deep within the valley, the Empress stared at the figure in the ice egg. A lot of time had passed, and the level 75 monster should have dissolved by now. But Luna, deep within the ice, was mostly intact. The Empress could feel that, even unconscious, Luna's deep feelings were keeping her body active, slowing the bone and flesh process. But no matter how strong her will, it would eventually break. The Empress considered her the perfect puppet. Suddenly, a voice pierced the silence of the ice nest. The Empress's entire body jerked for a moment. She looked at the dragon monster standing before her with disbelief. In just 9 days, my killing intent had increased tenfold. I looked at her coldly from above. Didn't your mother teach you that kidnapping is illegal? She's my girl. Give her back. The Empress no longer looked down on me. She saw a real threat. 9 days ago, she'd been amazed by my strength, but hadn't taken me seriously. I was just a little stronger than the average small fly. But now she had seen a ground-shattering change. I didn't know how much longer Luna would last. So I lunged forward like a reverse meteor, straight towards her face. I kicked her mercilessly, and the shockwave tore the ground like a blade. The Empress opened her mouth in anger and let out a thick breath of ice breath, but I had already disappeared. Look up, you crazy old woman. My voice came from directly above. She looked up, and I was a kilometer above. Void dragon breath was charging, so hot it was warping space. Last time, she trusted in her immortality and treated our fight as a joke, but now her sixth sense was telling her that if she didn't defend herself, she wouldn't die. She would lose all her combat power. In a millisecond, she gathered immense magic and deployed 5 layers of ice barriers, creating an unstoppable fortress. Void Sky Piercer. I spewed a massive fiery projectile that turned the sky red. The first barrier vaporized on contact. Then the second, the third, the fourth. Empress was stunned when her 4th barrier broke. Fiery projectiles and ice tide tore through her body, and her painful screams echoed through the valley. One hit wiped out half her health. Without those 5 barriers, she would have died. Oh, how are you so strong? She asked, recoiling in pain. I still hadn't calmed down. I was preparing to finish her off. That strike wasn't just condensed Void Dragon Breath. It was Void Sky Piercer, an advanced skill I spent 300 points to unlock. This is the ultimate dragon technique, beyond even God. I was impressed. I thought her raw power was still greater than mine. You have the appraisal skill, don't you? I asked. See for yourself. Appraisal is a common skill, a simplified version of truth. It shows the target's level and attributes. It's common sense to see the gap before a fight. She hadn't checked in 9 days, but now her pupils shrank in fear. One skill shook her to the core. Bloodline optimization. It optimizes my physiology, permanently increasing all stats by 50% and enhancing all buffs. It also includes future level up stats and provides level compensation to negate level suppression up to 40 levels. It's the top tier skill in my skill tree, costing 200 points. It's equivalent to boost evolution, making her level advantage virtually useless. Finally, there was super regeneration. It restores my health and mana after taking 5 points or 10 seconds of no damage. I'd invested all my fortune to gain the upper hand. The Empress roared and spread her wings. Faced with my overwhelming transformation, she had to get serious. She needed her puppets to recover and crush me with numbers. But 10 seconds passed, and not a single puppet had appeared in the nest. Surprised? I asked sarcastically. She immediately realized something was terribly wrong. Her bone and flesh puppets have real life. This means they require enormous mental energy to control them. She can only give simple orders. She can't sense they're being attacked. It would take impossible strength to sense 3,000 puppets. She couldn't have known I'd already slaughtered them all. A chill of terror ran through the Empress. He never imagined I would discover his weakness and wipe out his army. Your puppets were strong, and you deserve to be the ruler of this floor. But you're stuck in the past. I've been in your shoes. I've seen family die. Babylon told me your story. Your child's death was a tragedy. But I'm defeating you, because I always look forward. My family's blood protected me, while yours only binds you. At the mention of Babylon, the Empress froze. Her body shook violently, her gaze turning savage. The former Empress flapped her wings, creating a massive hurricane. Magic flooded her wings, turning into dazzling light. I braced myself. I knew the next strike would be her full power. As the glow reached its peak, she swung her wings, and a torrential burst of magic erupted, condensing even the air into solid sheets. Fully recovered from super regeneration, I unleashed the strongest strike of my life. Void Sky Piercer. It was as if the sun had burst. The searing heat began to melt the frozen world. On one side, space was freezing. On the other, ancient glaciers were melting. Cold and fire clashed in a blinding clash. Long ago, when the dungeon was first built, it was only chaos. The ancient beasts brought here in the primordial era had only these 5 floors to live in. They created a sanctuary of peace, filled with birds, flowers, and warm creatures. Even Babylon, one of the final bosses, had come to the 3rd floor for a peaceful life. Then came the Phoenix. With the power of rebellion, she absorbed the world's hatred within herself and consumed herself in flames. One day, she had a child who followed in her footsteps. Together, they held this paradise together. But they did not understand that hatred and greed could never be completely eradicated. Dungeon Lord Leviathan would not tolerate such peace. He came to the 3rd floor, killed Phoenix's child, and took away the monster's intelligence, leaving them mindless killers. Phoenix remembered his child's last words. "I wish this peace could last forever. I wish we could break the dungeon's debt." He asked Babylon a question. Why did a dungeon lord, like Leviathan, let him destroy everything he had built? Babylon's only answer was, "I tried my best. Babylon told me your story." Watching the dying empress, my heart sank into a deep pity. In her final moments, her gaze rested on me. I just wanted everyone to live in peace. I wanted a world where there was no killing. But her ways had become crueler than slaughter. I didn't want this world to become what Leviathan wanted. She wanted to protect the 3rd floor and break the curse. But in the end, she became what he wanted. She became the monster she had desired. The Empress closed her eyes. She wasn't dead yet, but she had no words left. I watched her silently until her last breath. Even when she finally stopped breathing, I said nothing. I couldn't promise to break the curse. It wasn't realistic. Even if I killed Leviathan, another monster would take his place. I'm sorry I can't be as noble as you. Big dreams are just bubbles. All I wanted was to not have those close to me taken away from me. Finally, I spoke my truth. Perhaps it was an illusion, but the resentment on her face vanished, replaced by a look of relief. With a loud crack, her body shattered into shards. Level up 17. Main quest complete. Skill points awarded. With her death, the glaciers began to collapse. I scanned the area and saw Sophie frozen in a block of ice. She was weak, but alive, and I felt a wave of relief. I finally exhaled. As I moved to unfreeze Sophie, something rolled out of the Empress's icy remains. I picked it up. It felt warm and smooth, like jets. A blue, glowing sphere, the size of an egg. "Wait, is this the God Box?" Babylon asked. "Son, you've hit the jackpot. This treasure only drops when a level 150 beast dies.